Hello and welcome to the SEO Plus AI show. My name is Josh Bashinsky. Today I'm joined by my co-host Greg Bassani. Say hi there, Greg.
Hey Josh, how are you today? Hey guys.
I'm doing excellent. Thank you for joining. And we're also blessed times two and three because we have Ryan Mazies with us and we have George Digital with us as well. George Johnson from George Digital. Ryan, why don't you introduce yourself, and then George, you go ahead and introduce yourself as well.
Hi everyone, I'm Ryan. Been working with I guess this cool sweet AI tool that Josh is doing, especially in local SEO. So I'm excited to be on again, Josh. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome, my friend, and welcome aboard. And we are joined for the first time with George. George, why don't you introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about you?
Yes, my name is George Johnson. I run George Digital. Yeah, I've been more of a lurker, if you will, in the background. Me and Josh been sort of picking each other's brains for the last couple of years now. But I'm happy to show my face.
Awesome. Well, we're happy to have you. Yeah, as they mentioned, Greg, Ryan, and George are all members of Underground SEO University. That's kind of our think tank group where we do a lot of testing and come up with all the awesome SEO theories and proven tactics that you're going to see today. So if you've never watched the SEO Plus AI show before, I'll just do a little bits of housekeeping as I put it on my face because I'm vain like that. If you've never watched the SEO Plus AI show before, we are the best place on the YouTubes to get information about SEO and artificial intelligence, and especially the intersection of SEO and artificial intelligence. If you want to make sure you catch the show live, we have them on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific, which is right now. And if you want to watch the produced show, we also cut it up and make a produced show and a bunch of shorts. You can watch that Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific. You can ask any questions you want on the right-hand side, wherever it is in the chat, any SEO questions you want for Ryan, George, myself, or Greg. We run the gamut of full SEO knowledge. We can answer any SEO question for you. We'd be happy to do so on the left-hand side. And also in the description, in the comments below, you can ask any questions there, no matter when you're watching this. And last but not least, if you want to make sure you are updated and told when the show is running, please, by all means, go and slap the monkey and ding the bell and click the links and do whatever else you need to do down there. All the little stupid things you need to do to make sure that YouTube actually tells you, hey, this show is live. Why don't you go watch it? So today, let me quickly ask... there's the long running segment in the show. Is Josh broadcasting properly? So let me go and check just to make sure that, yes, I am broadcasting correctly on this show. Yes, it appears that I am, and there's noise. So there is noise. Yay. Okay, fine. So not a lot of people have filtered in yet, but they will filter in. So that's good. So I'm broadcasting correctly. All right. So let's start the show off with what's new. What's new in SEO? And then after we do what's new in SEO, we will get to today's main topic. How do you find the boosting keywords in SEO? Are they NLP keywords? Are they LSI keywords? What AI should you be using to find your boosting keywords? Are there such thing as boosting keywords? Can you use boosting keywords? Is Google going to hit you if you don't have enough keywords? Is Google going to hit you if you have too many keywords? All of those things and more we're going to discuss today. And if we have time, I'll even get to how to write content with AI and take those keywords and boost your on-page. So it's a full on-page tutorial today, which I'll be doing under the rubric of my SEO tips. And we're going to cut up the SEO tips into smaller segments later on. So we'll get to that right away. Keep watching for that. But before we get there, I want to ask my panel of esteemed SEOs, what's new in SEO? What are you guys working on? What are you guys watching? What's new in SEO? Ryan, why don't you go ahead and go first?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if there's anything like I would say new on the Google side, but I've been connecting with a lot of new clients where they've had a lot of traffic drops since the December, November kind of update and coming into
Yes.
January.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of that, guys, is due to intent being off, pages ranking for way too many keywords, they keep producing bad user signals and then bouncing, and all these things need to be considered with when making your plans. So if you're having challenges with that, definitely, I'd say tune in and listen carefully because I've been seeing a lot of that over the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because I will be talking about that today. If not today, when we write the content for sure, next week, we'll do the content writing piece. And it's all about knowing the query intent because Google has an artificial intelligence which is specifically looking for that and looking at what that is. And it's going to boost you if you have the correct, primary and secondary query intent. And it's going to demote you strongly if you don't, because I don't know if people have noticed, but they've been laying off quality raters like crazy at Google. They've been laying off staff at Google. They're moving to an AI only model where the AI makes all the decisions. And that's one thing that quality raters for Google used to do: determine what pages should be ranking for what queries based on the query intent, what the user really wants, and what the page really gives them. And so that is crucial for on-page SEO. It's crucial you're using the right AI to tell you what that is. And we're going to show you how to do that with AI very simply, very easily coming up. So thanks, Ryan, for that. George, what's new in your neck of the woods, brother?
Anyone who has talked to me long enough knows that I have a shopping problem when it comes to SEO tools. So I'm continuing to play around with different SEO tools, AI bots, things like that. And I guess the big thing I'm seeing is just the amount of updating that they're doing recently. Google is making these small little tiny algo changes that are just sort of messing them up quite a bit.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I'm noticing right now, is just that Google is moving faster in some of their small changes.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good observation. They are moving faster in some of their small changes. And again, that is due to AI, due to their implementation of AI. Google is an AI first company. Google has been an AI first company long before OpenAI has been around. They've been running artificial intelligence, machine learning since like 2007 at the very least. So they are all over AI, and now they're doing what they promised they would do. They're firing human employees. They're doing exactly what the pundits warned would happen with AI. Google's doing it first. They're firing humans and getting AI to do it. So that is all the more reason why people who want to survive in SEO, you absolutely need to adopt artificial intelligence, and the right artificial intelligences, as soon as possible, to make your SEO that much more efficient, that much faster, and that much higher quality. To measure things using artificial intelligence in a way only a computer could analyze all that data. There's no way a human could analyze all that data. We're going to show you how to do that today. Let me ask you this really quick question. You can give me a one-word answer if you want. Greg, Ryan, and George, do you think, and it's a bit of a loaded question, a bit of a weighted question, but I'd love to hear your opinions. Do you think it is likely that SEOs can continue to do SEO successfully and not use artificial intelligence, at least in some part of their process? Do you think it's possible that they could be successful moving forward if they don't use SEO moving forward? Greg, what do you think?
No.
There you go. You heard it here first,
Yeah.
folks. That's good. I said a one-word answer is fine. Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like if you're strictly consulting and you're not in the game of creating content, implementing it, doing the strategy, you could do very well at consulting. But I hope that you consult the companies to make use of these AI tools so that they can keep up with the workload. If you're not consulting and you're doing actual implementation and executing those strategies, I think you're going to start getting left behind if you haven't already been.
Yeah, I would agree completely. And George, do you agree, or do you have a different view?
I have it's along the same line as Ryan, where I'll say yes, you can, but you'd have to be in the right niche. You
Right.
know, you can't do it in some of the big niches. You can't do it in your life. You can't do it in anything where there's more than 10 competitors type of thing. Because your competitors
Yeah.
are going to be doing it, and you're going to get left behind, right?
Yeah.
They're going to be pumping out five, 6 articles a week, and you're sitting there maybe getting 2 a month out, right? Because you
Yeah.
can't get all the data, you can't push it out fast enough, and Google's gonna be like, oh well, you
Yeah.
don't really know anything.
Yeah. To make quality pages, right? All the research you need to do in things that SEOs we've never heard before. Like I was just talking with my Jaguar client who does Jaguar car stuff, and I'm like, we need to pump out these pages, dude, and the research it takes and the amount of teeth pulling it takes. No offense to that client, I love that client, but the amount of like, come on, I need more information from you. We got to get the subject matter expert. You need AI to start, doing the vast majority of that process. 80% of that process, you can't. Some niches you can replace entirely with AI. Some niches you can't replace with AI. You totally need the human touch. But there's a good, huge chunk of tens of millions of niches in the middle where you have hundreds of competitors, not 10, hundreds of competitors. What niche do you only have 10 competitors that makes money? What niche that makes money only has 10 competitors at this point? You have
I didn't say it made money.
Yeah, right. Oh, right. Yes, you have to make money too if you want to survive in SEO. And for all those niches in the middle, the chunky middle is what I'm going to call it, with all those chunky competitors and the chunky information that's going to take time to chunk through it, if I can make that both a noun and a verb. The word of the day is chunk. We could throw it in anywhere. You could use it in anything. The chunking SEO. Stupid chunking SEO. The chunky middle, where you got to do all this work. AI is going to be used, as Ryan says, by your competitors, so you really don't have a choice. And as I like to say, for the most part, in the chunky middle, and I mean that seriously, but also facetiously, in the chunky middle, for every niche and every industry, for the most part, AI is not going to replace workers. A smart worker using a smarter AI is going to replace a worker. That, I think, is 110% true, and that's what we are. We are called to glory on this show. That is our purpose, our glorious. We are burdened with glorious purpose, as Loki said, and we are burdened to help people use SEO and AI together, because that is the future. I would not have made this show, and Greg and I would not have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars making an AI tool if we thought it was frivolous or wasn't necessary. This is the only way SEO moves forward, and we want to show that to you on the show today.
Amen to that.
All right. So then, without further ado, let me see if there's any quick questions here. Doesn't look like it. All right, great. So then let me share my screen here, and I'll just share this, and we'll get started then on today is how to find the boosting keywords. And so I'm continuing my SEO tips. I'm teaching a giant SEO course in little small chunky bites. So in a short, in like 400 different shorts, I'm going to teach an SEO course. I'm up to like SEO tip number 10. This will be a longer version of it. And then Raluca, my wonderful, awesome video producer, is going to cut out the tips, cut out shows out of this, cut out chunks and sections. It's chunking. She's going to chunk it up. And this one is going to be for how to find the boosting keywords. How to do your on-page, basically, is what we're going to cover today. So let's get right to it. Okay, so SEO tips. And again, this is an SEO course and tips, getting started. And today's tip, and I got all the various fruhas in the way here. Okay, so today's tip, SEO tip number 10, as promised, is find your boosting on-page keywords using AI quickly and efficiently. So SEO tip number 10 is how to find your boosting keywords with the right AIs that will guaranteed to boost you. Not guessing to boost you, guaranteed to boost you, both quickly and efficiently. Again, it's so important to make sure in SEO that you're doing this quickly and efficiently. SEO is not only about ranking highest, as I've said many times before. SEO is about ranking highest first, ranking highest fastest, because it's not the case that you're the only person spending time and money on SEO. All of your 10 competitors, as George said, which are probably more, all of your competitors are spending time and money doing SEO. And if you have, knowledge is a qualifier here. So if you have knowledge 100% of the algorithms, which nobody has knowledge of 100% of the algorithms, but just for the sake of example, let's say you have knowledge of 100% of the algorithms, and or the people who build your tools, like Greg and I, and Ryan and George and other people like that who are helping the testing for the tool, have high knowledge of how the algorithms work, like say 90%, then every hour you spend pound for pound, you're getting 90% result. And you spend $500 in 1 hour at 90%, you're getting X result, right? If your competitors, however, are spending 10 hours and $10,000, even if they only have 50% understanding of how it works, or even 30% of how it works, they might get more output than you do. They might build more pages, and just through sheer dumb luck, they might get to rank more pages, build a bigger site, build a more powerful site, rank higher faster than you can. And this is not what you want, right? So not only do you need to have the right knowledge, you need to have the right AI, you need to do it quickly, and you need to do it efficiently. So that's the first part of SEO tip number 10 that you need to remember. You need to do your on-page. You need to do this for all of SEO, but you need to do your on-page intelligently with knowledge of the algorithms. And that's built into this show, my Underground SEO University. If you want more information about that, email me at joshbashinsky@gmail.com. I can give you a huge hefty discount if you're also an SEO CP member. And 3, in the AI tools you're using, namely SEO Copilot, which is what I'm going to show you, which is the absolute best AI for SEO out there, bar none. I'll prove it to you today. I won't even sell it to you. I'll just show you how it works and I'll prove it to you. So that goes for all of SEO. 1. 2. There's another question when it comes to OnPage. And maybe you guys have heard this, Ryan and George and Greg as well. What kind of AI? We all know Google is using some AI, but what AI exactly are they using to determine what synonyms and co-occurring words and LSI words and NLP words, what words should we be putting in the page that will boost? A lot of people talk about NLP, which stands for Natural Language Programming. It is a type of artificial intelligence, which is not the same at all as, say, ChatGPT, which is an LLM, which stands for a large language model. They are not the same. One is a transformer, the other is not. One has XYZ entities. An LLM will think words A, B, and C are important, whereas an NLP AI will think completely different words are important, like XYZ are important. And so if you guess wrong, if you guess Google is using NLP as their primary on-page ranking algorithm, the only one they use apparently, when it's not the case, they use like 12, then you won't have boosting keywords in your page. If you do, it's completely and utterly by accident. The same thing goes with something called LSI, which a lot of people think that's what Google is using and have for the last 20 years, because that technology is like 30 years old. It stands for latent semantic indexing. And basically, it uses co-occurring words anywhere in the page. So if you're trying to rank for red apples, and if all the pages online that talk about red apples also say blue strawberries, then if you say blue strawberries on your red apples page, you will therefore get a boost. If and only if Google is using LSI, AIs, and it's not really even an artificial intelligence, really, LSI as a boosting algorithm. Ryan, George, have you heard about NLP and LSI? Have you ever run across that in your travels? What do you think about it? Let me know.
I, I yeah, I don't think any one individually of those, like if you just take one LSI and add it in, I think it's a bit more of a holistic approach where you might want them in there. I don't myself in our practice focus a lot on the LSI or the NLP stuff. I mean, we definitely rely heavily a lot on the terms that are promoted in SEO Copilot. I would say maybe like
Which
2 years
those
ago.
AIs, I'll just cut in for a second. Those AIs
Yeah.
would be rank brain, BERT, neural matching, query interpretation. The 4 main
Yeah.
publicly admitted artificial intelligences that Google says they use for on-page ranking, those 4 plus a couple others. They do vectorization as well. Vector embeddings it is one way to call it, which we don't do in the system. But those are the 4 that we do in SEO Copilot, just so people know that what you're referring to. But please go ahead. I cut you off. Go ahead. Keep going.
That's good. Yeah. So, I mean, I haven't been focusing on NLPs and LSI stuff in our strategies in a while now. I think there might be some merit to using them to gain deeper insight on the topic and what people are searching, but I typically don't these
Sure.
days.
Fair enough. George, is NLP the end all and be all of search engine optimization for on-page, do you think?
I would say no. I would say if you're to some of Ryan's points again, you want to use a combination of these. I like the idea of you having a holistic, you have all the information about that topic, that keyword, and you have this fun little spike. It's like, oh, what is that? And Google's like, ooh, ah, right? But if your bubble, if your information that you have about it is greater and bigger, Google's going to look at that much more than, at least in my opinion, is going to look at that much more than the smaller bubble with the small spike on it. So I think LLP in that sense, having your own small language, model, if you will, for it to look at and use, I think is better.
Yeah, exactly. So NLP and LSI is older technology that Google, quite frankly, has fully said, we're not using it on page. We're just not. And from all of our testing at Underground University, I can tell you that they're not using it. They're not using it. Those are not the AIs you need to use to find the keywords. If you've ranked any pages by putting LSI and LP in them at the tactical level, at the strategic level, what these guys are talking about, it can give you ideas for content for topical authority and clusters you could build and things like that. That's perfectly fine. Theoretically, I would actually have a pretty heavy caveat and addendum to that, but I'll talk about that when I get to SEO tip 54, topical clusters, whenever that's going to be. But quite frankly, at the tactical level, when you're implementing your boosting keywords, if you've boosted any keywords or pages off of NLP or LSI, it's only because they only happen to, by happenstance, also be used by these other AIs, not because it has anything to do with NLP and LSI. So let me show you, and I have the stats to prove this. Go back a couple of episodes here on my YouTube channel and watch the winter all hands I did in January, where I'll show you, I show you completely open the stats of how everyone in SEO CP is ranking. And I show that they are ranking, most of them, and that they are ranking very well, most of them, that it's getting better and has gotten better since last fall. Even the drastic updates that both Ryan and George mentioned they're doing since October 7th, actually, notwithstanding, our users are ranking better overall, except for one key metric, and I'll let that be a mystery to you to what that key metric is. Go back and watch the winter all hands so you can see what was the key metric. The only one that went down, it went down by 0.8 ranking spots, so not even a full ranking spot, but it did go down. It was the only one that did go down. You can go ahead and check what that is in the winter all hands that I did in January. Or email me and I'll just tell you if you don't want to go through that far. But yeah, let me show you. So let's get to the tactical end of the tip. Here is how you would easily find your boosting keywords for the particular search that you want to rank for, using the actual AIs or actual models we'll build for you of actual AIs that Google is actually using for on-page ranking. Let me show you. So I will share the screen. Alrighty. So here we go. Here is SEO Copilot. Now, so SEO Copilot, last week I showed you keyword discovery. And keyword discovery, you'll be going through and you're like, okay, how, you're trying to choose what searches you want to go for, like what you want to rank for in the first place. Let's say your niche is search engine optimization, or let's say you're not even sure what niche you want to be in. You're like, do I want to be in SEO? Do I want to be in law? Do I want to build an SEO blog or a law site and rank and rent this? Do I want to sell these sites? Do I want to do affiliate marketing for these sites? And those are just examples. Do I want to do law or real estate? Well, judging by this, in terms of the highest keyword revenue ballpark in our system, you would go for law for this, right? They're both tough niches when it comes to how difficult they are. This is 33% tougher than the rest of the internet. This is 45% tougher than the rest of the internet. So based on that, you'd go for law because it makes way more money and it's a little easier to rank for, generally speaking. But after you selected these keywords, you might be like, okay, how do I find the boosting keywords for my page? Well, either one, you would go here in keyword difficulty and you would click this if that's what you wanted to rank for, and you'd say, find the boosting keywords here. And or if you've just been given a keyword by your client or you know what you want to rank for already, you would go to Keyword Spy here. And you would type it in. So let's type in just a general query that I use for testing here, CBD oil for cats. Let's do that one. And you would just go to, you don't even have to use the advanced options. The advanced options are automatically selected for the fastest, most robust searches. And you would say, start Keyword Spy. Oh, it said something there. It said choose location, I think. You have to choose location. You can choose United States if you want. That's fine. You could add in your URL for rank tracking. We do have a rank tracking capability on there as well. And you would say start Keyword Spy. And so it's going to run. And let me just move this over so everyone can see. So then it'll run the report. And it'll do a report for you. Now this report will only take 5 minutes or so. Let me go down here to a report that I've already run here, which is Jaguar AG V8 engine, which is for, again, my Jaguar client that I mentioned before.
That's the Zoom engine.
That's the Zoom engine, yeah. So here you can see we have different tabs showing you the different tests that were run. I skipped neural matching just because that test takes 10, 20 minutes. That model we build for you is quite extensive. It's the most extensive one. But we do have Rank Brain here. We do have the higher scores, ones that you definitely want to pay attention to. And you notice the stop words are included, and that's on purpose. I'll tell you why in a second. and ones down here at the bottom, which are still words that could be positive, but they are not anywhere near as positive, and they definitely vector or skew down to the bottom. So we have single words, and then we also have bigrams, trigrams, and quadrams to give you an idea of the key moments in the video type restoration, how you would restore these kind of engines. This is where you start to get those ideas that George mentioned, where you start thinking, what are the angles, and Ryan mentioned as well, what are the angles that I might want to think about of how I might want to write this article? But I like to get this from the RankBrain thing here as well. And I like to look at what is north of 5, what is 5 and above, because that's skewing towards page number 1, spot number 1, how the scoring works. And it's like, what sentences can you make out of this? Now, I did a much longer video on this that I released last Friday, but basically you're getting the sense of, okay, the new Jaguar engine, if from Ford, question mark. So the primary and secondary query intents are another thing you want to pay attention to. And you also get these ideas in BERT, looking at the specifications of the Jaguar AG V8 engine, information about the Jaguar AJ V8 engine. So that's the primary query intent that they're looking for. You can also look at what the competitors are doing here. They're talking about key moments in the video. But RankBrain is a great AI because it's starting to tell you that, is Ford or Land Rover, do they make this car engine is another question. And if I do a search for this, you'll see here, if I do a search for this, and I'll come back here and just copy paste this. I'm sure there was something I could have clicked, but if I do a search for this here, you're like, where am I getting this Ford thing? This is what the people also ask. And so the primary query intent is the primary information they're looking for on this query. And the secondary query intent is the secondary dimension, another aspect, if you will, of what they're looking for. And it's very important to keep this in mind. Our AI can pick it out for you in terms of the BERT entities here. Also, we give some idea here in the search intent of what the SERP summary is and the journey. The user is seeking information about the Jaguar AG V8 engine based on the titles and tips provided. Their next steps could be to watch a YouTube video for more visual information or read a tech guide for in-depth technical details. So again, that's giving you a lot of guidance as to how you should be building this page and what keywords you should be using, because you need to handle something I call the sheet. So let me tell you what I mean by that. I'll just open up a quick, easy notepad here for this. You need to handle what I call the sheet, which stands for these things here. It stands for the semantic keywords. You need the helpful keywords. You need the keywords that show you have the experience. You need the keywords on page that shows you have the expertise. You have to speak authoritatively about the topic. And this comes directly from Google. EAT was from Google. Heat, helpfulness is an AI they released. The semantic keywords is exactly what RankBrain and the keywords are going to give you. Those are what people usually think of the boosting keywords, the semantic keywords, but they're not the only ones. And then finally, do you talk about it in a trustworthy way? Are you trustworthy? Are you using the words that convey you're an expert that they can trust? And finally, query deserves freshness or timeliness. Are you talking about it in a timely fashion? Do you have the updated factual information? That is also equally important. So tip 10 for your on-page keywords, everything with on-page has to do with bringing the sheet. You have to bring the sheet. Do you have the sheet? You need the sheet. You need to have the semantic words on your page. Our AI will help you find it better than anyone else's. You need to have the helpful keywords on your page. Our AI will help you find it better than anyone else's. Helpful. You need to have the keywords on your page that shows that you have the experience in the topic. You need to have the keywords on your page that shows you have the expertise on the topic. And these words must go on your page is the important part. People think that this is like you put this on subpages. No, you can do that too, and that helps, but it helps even more if you put that on the exact page you're trying to rank for, whatever query you're trying to rank for. You need those keywords on your page. You need to talk about it like you have experience. And that means you need to say the exact words the people with experience have said. And you need to talk about it like you have expertise, meaning you need to talk about it like the experts do, using the words that they've said on pages. And you don't have 10 hours to go do this research. You don't have 10 or 20 or 30 hours to go become a subject matter expert in Jaguar AJ V8 engines. You're an SEO. You need to move much faster than that. And that's exactly what your AI has to do for you. And ChatGPT is just not good enough to do this. It's just not. You need to know what RankBrain thinks those words are. Here's what RankBrain thinks these words are. And RankBrain notices the secondary dimension of Ford and Land Rover engines and whether or not the AG-V8 engine is from Ford or Land Rover. That's the giant hints here as to what the primary and the secondary query intent is for that particular keyword. We're trying to rank for Jaguar AJ-V8 engine. So I hope that makes sense now in that, okay, I see, that's the primary intent of what you need to do. And there's various places in this tool where I would find it. I'd find it in RankBrain. It would corroborate what my eyes are seeing here. And I'm going to build a much more robust and much more obvious query intent finder for you. But basically, it's also being said here in BERT. People who search for a Jaguar AJ V8 engine are looking for specifications of the Jaguar AJ V8 engine. They're looking for information about the Jaguar AJ V8 engine. That's the primary query intent. And RankBrain will help you determine, plus looking at the SERP, will help you determine what the secondary query intent is. I've done a lot of testing on this, and I know that primary and secondary query intent, and as Ryan and George already told you, is of primary importance when it comes to choosing your on-page keywords. Okay, so let's also quickly look at the rest that are going on here. So in neural matching, as I said, I didn't run that test, so there'll be no information there. But in the final results, you can see here the scoring that eventually happens, and it scores both the phrases that you should be using as far as BERT and RankBrain are concerned, and it scores the words, the word entities you should be using as RankBrain and BERT and TW-BERT, which is term weighting BERT, which weights a certain term, which Google put a white paper out on, which we know they're doing, so that's why we included the AI, that AI into this, and the query interpretation test. You also notice, and I talked about this last time when we were doing this, you also noticed, like in search engine optimization here, for example, that there are, like, look at these top 3 keywords here. Search engine positioning, SEO, search engine optimization, SEO search optimization. These are 3 variations of the same search with the same query intent. And so that is what query interpretation does. Query interpretation gives higher scoring to all the words that really mean the same thing. And you notice it will give a different score than, say, TW-BERT will for a word, or BERT will for a word based on what the competitors are using, or RankBrain will for a word. And it's the highest scored among all of these AIs that will get the highest score for boosting your page, which is why we score them the highest, which is why you want to use our AI system, because we are actually using the actual AIs that Google are using, that they have publicly admitted and reported that they're using as much as possible with our testing and building a new model for you as close as we can get as possible. And we actually score them up in the same way that Gary Ilyish from Google has already explained how the OnPage works. And we score them up in the exact same way so that your words that we would automatically write into AI articles, or we would provide you here in a report that you can just give to your writer and say, okay, these are the words you have to make sure you talk about, is what you want to talk about. The Jaguar engine is supercharged. Supercharger and supercharge apparently is also very important for these various AIs. Although you notice that TW-BERT is not crazy about supercharger. And you notice that, however, query interpretation is. Supercharger is a variation, a synonym, if you will, of some words in this Jaguar AJ V8 engine. I don't know which ones, because I'm not a Jaguar guy, but I don't need to be. I'm an SEO. I need to have an AI that builds this for me super fast, and that's what I have, right? Also, they want to talk about turbo. Again, TW-BERT didn't think highly of that. BERT didn't think highly of this at all. Competitors are not really using it much, but RankBrain said, oh, this is the least highly ranked. But query interpretation says, yeah, this is a synonym for supercharger, turbo, for the AJ-V8. You could mention it. Again, it has a score of 11, which is less than half of 32. It's really these words at the top that are scored 32, 22, 20 that really rise to the top and will give you the highest boost in your page. So the SEO tip, sorry, let me do this, and maybe move this over here again. So the SEO tip, So the SEO tip, how do I find the boosting keywords, is very simple. Run a report in Keyword Spy, in SEO Copilot, and in 5 minutes you will have all the boosting keywords automatically tiered for you that shows you which ones are floated to the top that you need to mention the most based on real AIs that Google is actually using that we have guarantees are going to boost you. And I have the stats to prove it. Go back and watch the January winter all hands where I show all the stats of how everyone using the system has done. And you'll see that, yes, indeed, statistically, they are boosted. You will see the truth of that there. So let me go quickly see if there's any questions specifically about that. No questions all. Guys, if you have any SEO questions, I'm happy to answer them for you. Let me know. Let me go back to my panel. So guys, what do you think about that? Is that easy? Is that good? Have you used it? Have you gotten boost from it? What are your thoughts, questions, concerns?
I like it. The getting information is a lot quicker and easier. And with the biggest thing I found with the way SEO shifted with AI is that the burden of content curation is a lot higher than it used to be because it's easier to create it. And so for you to really be noticeable, you have to be able to create meaningful content in quick amounts of times. And what this tool does, and we're definitely using it, helps shorten that burden that time is by doing it quickly. It's great. I've been using it a lot. I still there's unique things where you still want to maybe go in and edit and make sure it's perfect for the company and the brand, but it for sure has supercharged our process.
Plus two callback points for Ryan. Good job. Plus 2 callback points. George, what do you think about it?
I agree. It makes life easier. But again, you still have to take it with a grain of salt. Like each niche is different. Each company is different.
Yeah.
You can't just do a blanket, let me just throw these keywords into my AI and have it just spit out a bunch of stuff and expect it to rank. Because then there's still situations where the people who are looking at it may still not like it because it's not written the right way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
So there's still going to be some heavy editing to do.
Yeah.
So I would say what all this has done is gotten rid of the writers and make the editors get paid more, which I'm fine with.
Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, I would say that instead of me spending time scraping for data, I can spend the time having my brain turn on the data. The data points are readily accessible and I can get them quickly so I can spend my time doing the productive things. We used to have it where, I might have VAs go out and collect this stuff for me and they might do it a little differently in the spreadsheet here and there. And I have all these things to work through and I get, it's tired eyes. It makes practicing SEO and implementing it easier and a bit more enjoyable too, because you get the data points, you make your decisions, you execute.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I mean, you need to segment the people into the right roles, right? And the SEO, the more you're spending time grinding away, finding keywords and making big Excel lists and doing this all manually, is less time you're doing the right SEO by what George said, finding the actual query intent, making an actual quality good article, something that somebody wants to read. Because I guarantee you that if you build a boring article, that's not going to rank in 2024 and beyond. If you're building thin content, and that's what I mean by a boring article, if you haven't spoken to the exact query intent, as George said very expertly, if you haven't built an article that is speaking to the exact primary and secondary query intent, as I showed you, it's not going to rank. It's just not going to rank. And so you need an AI to hit the bullseye on 50 different things simultaneously, and it has to do it fast, has to do it efficiently. Now, let me show you really quickly here. Let me go back here to reports. You'll see already my CBD oil for cats report is already done in the time it took. Actually, it was done in 5 minutes. We've gotten reports times down from 40 minutes down to 5 minutes, and it's giving me the primary and secondary query intent. Look at what it thinks over 5
Share your
here.
screen, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys want to see it too?
Yeah.
So the CBD and your 2,4 oil cats, cat U with there is B are from that can pet products. So this informational, I don't see any other verbs here like purchase, right? I don't see buy CBD oil as one of the top words. Where's the word buy? The word buy shows up down here at number 2. The word buy shows up here at number 4. So again, that's telling you this is not towards the end of the sales funnel kind of a page. This is higher in the no-do area, right? Where what they're trying to do here is they're trying to inform you. You see effects, bottle, natural, health, safe, organic. That's the kind of stuff you want to say on this page. It's skewing towards dosages, quality reviews, ingredients, what you should do, how you should give it to them. So this is where you get the ideas of how to make this article through RankBrain mostly, and eyeballing the SERP as well. Ryan, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, looking at this, I can pretty much say that you'd have an informational article with maybe a hook at the end that they could buy it somewhere.
Yeah.
But that's just like the hook at the end, which is good practice when you have a blog. You don't just write for the information. You try and, hey, you could put all this information to use. I think this is a great example.
Yes, yeah, it is. Definitely is. And you'll see here that both in the this thing here, the journey, the audience is likely in the early stages of the journey. The AI nailed it. That's exactly where they are. They're in the early stages of the journey. The RankBrain testing here from the actual RankBrain model confirms it. Seeking information about CBD oil for cats. Their next steps could involve researching more about recommending products. So they're very early in the journey here. And Bert's going to say the same thing. It's going to say, well, they're looking for, drumroll please, blah, 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 blah. How to use CBD oil for cats, right? Best CBD oil products for felines. They're looking for the benefits. It's early in the journey here is what they're looking for. And if I click on results here, you see the exact same things are scored highly. CBD, cats, oil, pets, cannabis oil for products. Products for cats with cannabis oil is really the sentences you can make out of this. And that's how the AI is going to work. I'm going to give it each sentence, and each word is going to start building sentences. So you know that the AI is going to generate the correct kind of article for you, which I'll cover next week because we've already been here 45 minutes. So I'm going to try to keep these as short as possible. For your pet or kitty, right? And it can help. It's organic. It's safe. You definitely want to mention the word safe, even though it's a direct synonym for the query interpretation test, right? Although TW Burt doesn't think highly of it. RankBrain says it's above north of 5, and Burt is 1 out of 4. It gives it a 4, but still, I would mention how it's safe, and I'd talk about how it's grown, the plant stuff, bottled naturally. They want an honest review. These kinds of are the ideas that George talked about that should start stimulating your mind. And also Ryan said that this work is automatically done for you, so the SEO in charge who's building the quality articles can already start dreaming about the kind of angle they want to take, the primary query intent angle and the secondary query intent angle they want to take for building their article. Because if you get that wrong, as George said, you're not going to rank if you get that wrong, quite frankly.
Question for you, Josh, on that. So when I see an article like that where it's asking for the best one, it doesn't like recommend individual products. But if I were to write that article and it was outlining the ones that maybe we were saying is the best, I might want to list some of the unique articles that are out there that people could learn about. Would you add that into that article? Like, here's some example of products you can get. We found these are honest reviews and have great this. What's your thinking on that?
That's a great question, Ryan. So as you well know, I would go into much deeper detail in Underground SE University and all these tactics. That's where I get into a lot of detail. People might have thought this was very detailed. This is nothing compared to the depth I would go into in Underground SE University. But to give a short answer, links can both help you and hurt you, right? So think of the old PageRank algorithm. The way it was written in 1998 is that link juice flows through to an terminus page, an end page. And typically it says directly in that old white paper, go back and read it if you don't believe me, that the terminus page is usually what will rank better. Why are they going to rank someone in the middle who is saying, if you want more information, vis-a-vis perhaps even better information, go to this authority? Well, then they're just going to follow the chain down and rank the final authority. So there's that aspect of it from one end. But at the same time, there's also the kind of citations idea that's in the original PageRank algorithm. And that idea is like, well, if you're referencing not the terminal page that gives the query intent they want, but you are referencing like really official scientific research papers or governmental resources or something really official that really is not directly talking about this topic and should not directly rank for this topic, but
supports it.
But supports it as a corollary. It gives credence to your authority. It gives credence to your being in the knowledge culture of the right people who know actually about this in terms of a factual scientific perspective. That might benefit you. So it really depends on the kind of linking you're doing. Again, I have a lot more to say about that in Underground S University, but that was a great question for sure.
Well, I have a follow-up question that's kind of more about the on-page side. So would you look at, for someone who's looking for the best CBD oil for their cats, would you then look at maybe listing some of the products available out there that people could get a brief synopsis on? One of my thinkings is that you can talk about the best ones and what to look for in them, but I think what would be helpful for people would be a list of products that they could go and look at.
For sure. Yeah, no, definitely. That's a great point. So, and I can show you exactly how to easily do this in a second. It really depends on the kind of page you're making, but it really is important for an affiliate play, for a review style affiliate page. You definitely need to give alternates of where they can purchase this thing. It is really against Google's guidelines just to say, we're the only people, buy it from us, and try to be too low in the sales search funnel there. You really want to push it up into the no-do area, the informational / transactional area, where you're giving them options. And because Google has specifically said, you must give options. You can't ramrod them to buying your own. Now, between you, me, and the dinosaur bones here, we all know in affiliate markets, of course, people mostly click the top one that you recommend the highest. And so, of course, you put the one you have the best affiliate commission, or the one you want them to buy if you're doing an in-house e-commerce kind of perspective. The one you want them to buy, you put first so that you make the best money off it. And they usually click it, and that's usually fine. But you do have to give the options and the pros and cons and the decision matrix for choosing each with as much information that's helpful as possible. And let me show you how you would do that very easily in our system. So let's say I'm like, okay, I'm ready to write the CBD oil for cats page. What I'll do here is I'll go right to the editor. And what I would do, let me just move this over here. We have a very easy way of doing that here. You can add the featured snippet content here. You can add this, boom, the featured snippet content for CBD oil for cats. And we've shown statistically this will get you a featured snippet more often than not. You could do that there. I just showed this on another video as well, but I'll show it again. And here you have the helpful content update, where you need to demonstrate firsthand expertise and a depth of knowledge. Or after reading your content, will someone leave feeling they've learned enough about a topic to help achieve their goal? These are actual suggestions from Google that they have said you need to answer these questions if you want the helpful content AI to give you boosts. And so I would say, fine, write all these, please. And then it will add these in after the AI does the research, goes and finds the information, and then it will add in all this information for you. You can just say add, 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 and add. And this is just in point form, which you can leave as is, or you can start rewriting this. Like you can highlight this one particular sentence, for example, and you can just say, upscore this, please. And the AI will go, okay, boom, and it writes a whole paragraph for you, stuffed full of keywords. All those highly scored keywords that we talked about before. But I'm going to get more into this next week because this is a deeper thing to talk about. And then finally here, and this is very important for this exact example for CBD oil, the product review ones. You need to express expert knowledge about the products where appropriate. If you're not expressing expert knowledge about it, they don't want to rank you. You need to show what the product is like physically or how it is used. You need to provide quantitative measurements about how the product measures up in various categories of performance. That's exactly where you were talking about, Ryan, where you would talk about different, the different categories of performance and how this product, in a table maybe, how this product measures up, but also how the competing products measure up. And obviously the one you are suggesting that they buy at the very top of your review style page would have the best quantitative measurements. That's why you're suggesting it ostensibly. You explain what sets it apart from competitors, in which case you'll need to mention competitors. You need to cover comparable products to consider, which again is exactly what you're talking about. or explain which products might be best for certain use and circumstances. You need to discuss the benefits and drawbacks of a particular product based on research into it, the pros and cons. You need to describe how a product has evolved from previous models. You need to identify the key decision-making factors for the product's category and how the product performs in those areas. For example, a car review might determine that fuel economy, safety, and handling are key decision factors and rate performance, and most importantly, rate performance in those areas. Google's AI is looking for this, and it knows what the experts think are the key decision-making factors. And if you are not mentioning the key decision-making factors on your page, then you are not an expert and they are not going to rank you. So it's really important you get that in there in the keywords that you're choosing, and that our generate article does for you automatically, and or you could use the content little mini AIs to do for you. And then finally, you need to describe the key choices and how a product has been designed and their effect on the users beyond what the manufacturer says. So that's a perfect question, Ryan. And that's exactly what you need to do to choose the keywords. And I'm going to get more into this next week in SEO tip number 11, how to write your SEO content efficiently and quickly. So you can get black hat efficiency and get black hat generation of content, but with white hat quality. So you can have the best of both worlds. You can have the devil on your shoulder and the angel, and the devil's whispering, do it quickly, and the angel says, don't cut corners, do it quality. You can have both with the proper AI system.
So don't forget to click that notification bell so you don't miss it.
Yeah, make sure to click the notification bell. All right. Thank you very much, guys. So let me check quickly to see if there's any questions here before we wrap it up for today. No questions today. Fantastic. Great. All right. So this has been great. Thanks. I want to thank Greg for joining. I want to thank Ryan for joining and George for joining and all your awesome questions. Using AI is the future. There's no getting around it, but you don't have to be afraid of it. You should adopt artificial intelligence because, again, AI is not going to replace really many jobs. For the most part, in the chunky middle, it's going to be, and that's where most of you are, and most pages most of the time, it's going to be a smarter AI using a smarter human using a smarter AI that is going to beat you. And I have the stats to prove it. I know this is going to happen. If you have any SEO questions at all, so use our system. You can try it free for 10 pages or 14 days. Go to SEOCP, go to SEOCopilotai.com, and make sure you check my description because Josh subscribers, just for you, Josh subscribers have a coupon code for 10% off. So check the description for our coupon code for 10% off. And you can also try it free for 14 days to start off with. You can't get a better deal than that. So thanks everyone for listening. Thanks for watching. I'm going to cut it off there, and so we can go on and actually do the SEO work that we need to do with the AI system that's making it super fast and super easier for us. If you have any SEO questions at all, please do not hesitate to email me at joshbashinsky@gmail.com. That's JOSH, B as in Bob, ACH, Y as in YouTube, N as in Nancy, SKI@gmail.com. I will be happy to give you any SEO help I can. We'll see you in the emails, and we'll see you next week for more stuff from SEO Plus the AI show. Thanks a lot, guys, and we'll see you next time.
See you, everyone.
See you guys. Thank you.
Now, let me see if I can